Hey y'all, this is Eliana with reDesign. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am participating with several YouTube content creators in the Unique Antique Challenge that is sponsored by Crystal at the Crafty Creech DIY and Furniture Flips, and also Diana from First Rain Furniture. I am working on a French provincial antique that I think is going to turn out super pretty, and I'm adding a floral accent to it. So let's get right to it. I know, I kind of dropped off the face of earth, but really I didn't. I have just been having to work out some personal stuff, but here I am working on this beautiful antique dresser. It's made of tiger oak wood, and it has a lot of work that it needs, but it kind of fits the French provincial era, although this is tiger oak, which is unusual for a French provincial, but this one definitely looks like one. I'm going to, of course, begin by removing all of the hardware and giving it a good clean. The bottom drawer is what needs the most work on this. I found a tiny little stamp and I forgot to actually take a picture of it, but the little stamp had a 1908 date on it. So I think this guy is definitely an antique. So it's been around the corner a couple of times, and it definitely needs some help. I'm going to go ahead and glue all of this veneer and try to save as much as I can. I really don't want to remove it because my goal will be to actually leave this bare after I sand it completely down. I'm going to just glue everything, and then I'm going to add a whole bunch of wood putty to build up where the veneer is missing. Then I'm going to faux some, what would I call it? The veneer. I'm going to faux veneer some tiger oak style. That was a mouthful. Anyways, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I started with the putty that changes color, and I quickly realized that this one was way too thin and that I needed to change over to the regular type of putty. So I will be applying that now, and you'll see that I'm going to apply it rather thick so that I can then allow it to dry overnight and then come back and sand down very, very well to make it extremely smooth and seamless with everything else. Once I have that going, I'm going to go ahead and prep the rest of the drawers to remove the hardware or the lack thereof. I'm going to probably change this hardware to a more French provincial style at the end, or at least that is what I'm thinking about. And I am also going to start the process of cleaning, but also stripping this piece. Yes, I think I'm gonna go bare with it. I've been promising you guys a bare piece, and this is the one that I had in mind for quite some time anyways. I am going to initially be leaving this piece for myself because I've never seen one that looks like this, and I'm probably never going to see one again. So I have a great spot at my house for it, and so that's my initial thought. But if there is a client for it, you guys know I will sell it. I am sanding the top and I am sanding the front of the drawers. I will actually use a product that I haven't used before on the rest of it. The product promises to be fairly easy to use, and so I'm hoping that is the case. Sanding down the door also. but I am going to use the product on everything else. So here it is. This is what I'm going to be using. QCS is a stripper that is supposed to be very natural, very eco-friendly, very easy to use. I just simply have to spray it, leave it on for a couple of minutes, and then use either a wire brush or some steel wool. Of course, I'm not patient enough to follow the directions. You also see the big fan behind me because I am in my warehouse and it's extremely hot inside. And so I literally sprayed this, and before it dried, I needed to go ahead and remove it. I did turn off that fan, y'all, and it was HOT. I also needed to make a small little repair in that corner where you see me doing it right there, but it's all good. I immediately started stripping the piece and I used a wire brush for it. It was a very easy process. I have to say that the product does not have a very strong smell. Initially, it made me sneeze and I blamed it on that. But the next day when I came back and actually used it again, I realized that it wasn't that it was just my allergies and I needed to sneeze a lot on the previous day. So the product is fairly safe, very easy to use. Again, you just basically spray it, leave it on for a few minutes, and then start brushing like you see me doing here. Came off really easy. Of course, it's probably best to use on a definite wood piece. This is oak, and so stripping oak is easy and not, but this product definitely works, and it made getting into all of those details very easy. The cleanup is with water, and I opted to put it in a spray bottle and clean it that way. It was super easy. I do have to say that. So it has 100% my backup as far as the product use, ease of use, and everything that it says it will do. I feel like it delivered. There was a lot of stripping that I needed to do, and getting into all of those nooks and crannies is never easy, but I did do that. Again, using the wire brush to remove as much as I can. I allowed the piece to dry and came back the next day, and there was very minimal sanding that I needed to do. Here I am literally washing off the product with water. And like I said, I decided to put it in the spray bottle because for me it was easier. And then I'm using a regular brush to remove it. Super cool and easy to do. I think this would have taken me a lot longer to finish if I had gone with the regular stripper that I'm used to doing, and it's the orange smelling one. The drawer is now ready for me to sand, and I know that I'm gonna have to do more than one coat of the putty, so I decided to sand it towards the end of my day before I went home so that I could do a second layer of putty. But I wanted to kind of see where this is. I am not going for perfection, so let me just go ahead and warn you that you will not see perfection on this drawer when the piece is finished. Again, this gal was made in 1908 from what I can gather, or somewhere around that time, and so she's gonna have to have some bruises on her, because who doesn't? Tell me who's 100 or over 100 years old and doesn't have a scratch on him. So I'm not going for perfection, but I'm trying to save this drawer, and there was a lot of puttying to be done in order to save it. Here I am sanding off the little, I would call it product, that was the little stain that was left on this piece to be sanded after the QCS. It was a very easy job to finish. This is before I went home. The right side is still wet and you can see how it looks, but the rest of the piece is dry already, and you can see how well the product performed. So this is where we are at the end of the day 1. The next morning I came back and I sanded off the second round of putty. This time around I was able to get it exactly the way that I wanted, and no extra puttying was needed, so I could proceed with the faux finishing of the putty itself. So what I decided to do was to use some stain markers, something that resembled the stain color that was originally on the piece. So what you want to do is cover all of the areas as you see me doing now. You may need 1 or more markers. I used 2 different colors. I used something that was in the oak color. I used a mahogany to give it a little bit of redness, and then I used a color that was lighter. Gosh, I forget the name of it right now, but something light. Allow it to dry, and then what I'm doing over here is with a razor, I'm coming back and I'm scarring the wood putty. Basically, what I'm trying to do is resemble the oak. Oak has like little lines, and so by scarring the putty, you are creating those little lines that will look somewhat like the veneer. Then you add additional stain to it, and the stain will go into the little lines. Once that dries, you sand that back, and you should have something that looks very close to the original. That's how mine looked. I then proceeded to put the bottom on the drawer again and sanded everything like I had sanded the rest of them, and moved on to the cubby. The cubby had a whole bunch of stains. I'm not sure what those rings are on there. I think that was probably some sort of candles or something there. I tried to scrape off as much as I could. Ended up actually going into the veneer right in the middle because it was a little lifted. That took me down a rabbit hole, and I actually took off that entire veneer from that top. It was just the easiest thing to do, and yeah, that's where we ended up with that. I also decided to include the floral on here by using transfers. I love using them when I can. I don't often do it because it's not something that is very sellable in my area, but since I'm thinking about possibly leaving this piece for me, and even if I sell it, the transfers will just be on the side of the drawers and they will be well hidden. So I am not one who follows the direction not the direction so much, but the way that the transfer comes in. I love to cut it up in 1,000 different pieces and then just placing it in any way that I like to see it. I love sealing it with Big Mama's butter, and in this case I'm using Suzanne's Garden Scent. I apply that all over the drawer, bottom, sides, everything. On the sides I'm actually doing it to seal the transfer, but on the bottom and everything is just because it will make it super smooth. Right here you see me using it on the inside of the drawer as well. And I also decided, as you saw, to actually paint that cubby. This is me applying some transfers also on the door so that when you open it you can see that. I then sealed the entire piece in flat top coat, and I'm using flat so that it doesn't change the color of the bare wood. If I use a satin, it will deepen that color, and I don't want it to. I want it to look like it's bare. So that's what flat top coat does. I'm going with 1 coat everywhere on the body, the drawers everywhere, but I am applying 2 coats on the top to make it more durable. And as a reminder, here's what the piece looked like before. It was missing veneer, it was missing hardware, it was missing a lot of things. It was dirty, definitely that, but it was in pretty good shape for being so old. I am trying to stage it here, and you'll kind of see me going through my crazy staging process because I try a lot of different things and some things work and some don't. So trying everything that I want to see. Since the theme is with florals, I'm gonna use some flowers on it too. I change the items a couple of times around, but decided that this is how I wanted to end up decorating it for staging. I'm really in love with it. I know I say the same about every single piece that I finish, but I do love this one a lot. She's not perfect, nor did I want it to be. She's well over 100 years old, I do know that, and tiger oak comes around very, just not easily and not very often around my area anyway. This piece is completely different because of all of the detail that it has. It's also an antique French provincial. I wanted to kind of enhance some things on it and show off some other things on it. So the wood is the start here. The sides of the drawers will be the floral that if anybody opens it, it will be kind of a surprise. This is how that door ended up, and I think it's super cute. I also painted the inside of each drawer as well as that cubby, and that will be an extra surprise. I went with a muted color in green, which is beautiful, and overall I really like her. I might keep her, I might not. If someone is interested on it, it is available. She's not perfect, but she's perfectly imperfect right now, and she is beautiful. The hardware, I changed it. I kept the top hardware, but I used a gilding wax on it, and I think she looks great. Guys, if you have stuck around, please make sure that you subscribe if you like my content. Also, I invite you to look at the playlist of the Unique Antique Challenge, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.